My name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a real estate broker in the state of Alaska, and my mission is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching you in real estate. And today we're going to be answering some questions that people have as they're trying to find work up here. Primarily, what are the best ways that you can find work up here? Because there is employment. It's not necessarily just in open site where you can see it. So we're going to go over some basic things you need to do, and then we're going to go into some more specific advice I would give for Alaska. Before we get started though, do make sure you give this video a like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and let's go and jump into today's video. Now the first step I would really recommend that you go ahead and do before we get into a whole lot of like really niche pro tips, we'll call it, is to really just do the basics, and that is go look at the websites like the alaskajobs.com, job board they have over on Alaska Labor, and any other websites you can find out there. Create profiles, upload your resume, make sure that you're at least doing the basics here, which in 2020s, this is really going to be the basics, so make sure your resume looks good and make sure that you're putting your best foot forward on those platforms. The second tip I would give you is make sure you are networking with people who are inside your industry, and also try to attend any job fairs if you possibly can. This can be a little problematic if you're out of state right now. So the best thing I would say is reach out to people who are in your industry and try to get a sense from them on where the opportunities are and where they might be in the near future. And obviously job fairs is going to be a great option. I'll let you decide if you want to make the trip all the way up here for a job fair if you're not already here, but that certainly is something you should consider. The third thing you should do is contact some employment agencies up here in Alaska and see if you can use their services in order to help you find some options that might not already be out there. They're going to be able to offer you some good tips like, this resume looks good, I think you should do this more, do that less. And they're also going to be able to potentially put you in contact with some positions that aren't currently advertised, because they are, more plugged into what's going on in the employment scene more so than most other people. So yes, do make sure you go leverage the employment agencies. Fourth tip I would give you is really make sure you are leveraging social media as much as you possibly can. And I mean, I'm not talking about going on there and like just getting lost and scrolling. I'm saying go look for the specific industries that you are wanting to apply for. See if you can find any Facebook groups in there, and see if you might be able to reach out to people who are in those groups or maybe the moderator of any of those groups. And also see if you can just connect with people that you know might be in your industry, or how about in an industry that's somewhat related to what you're looking for if you're absolutely not finding anything in your specific niche. Let's go and take a break real quick here. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you're thinking about moving up here to Alaska, and a good resource for you if you are considering doing that is to check out my podcast at Alaskan Journey. A link for that is going to be in the description section down below. And what it is we bring people in who have recently moved to Alaska and talk about their experience, kind of the tips and tricks that they learned along the way, and kind of get their perspective as to, is Alaska a good or a bad place to live for them so far. So make sure you go check that out. And also, I do have a relocation guide for those of you who are considering moving to Alaska, so do make sure you go check that out. Website down below, and you'll have to register, and just make sure you put relocation guide in the description so I know what to send you. Now the fifth tip I would give you is make sure you're reaching out to Alaskan companies and really using it as an opportunity to kind of showcase your skills right up front on what it is that you can do. Now this is good for a number of reasons, and I'll explain a little bit more in detail later, but one of the big reasons this is good is it kind of shows you're a little more proactive and that you kind of understand where you would fit within the company. And that really does help sometimes if they're looking for positions that might not currently be hiring, but they know an opening will be coming up soon. And if you can jump in there and get ahead of everyone else just because you're showing you're proactive, that can actually do wonders for you. Sixth tip I would give you is, if at all possible, see if you can intern, see if you can volunteer, and see if you can put yourself out there into the community, even if it's not specifically for what it is that you're wanting to do. A lot of the people who are volunteering are people who are successful in their fields, and they're looking for a way to give back to the community. And this is a prime place for you to be networking and interacting with kind of the movers and shakers in the industry. So if you have the geographic possibility of doing this, and also, if you're looking for a job, I'm assuming you have the time, then this might be a great place for you to kind of network in. Also while you're there, give back to the community, because that in and of itself is important without adding the trying to find a job on top of that. Now, the 7th tip I would give you is try to find those industries that are very Alaska specific. And what I mean by those is find the industries that you really can't get anywhere else that might be really high demand up here. And the ones I'm thinking about specifically are oil, tourism, and fish and game. I mean, primarily, commercial fishing with fish and game. So if you are looking for work, you might see if you can find something in these fields. If nothing else, it's usually a lot easier to find something in the tourism industry and at least get your foot in the door and buy you some more time as you're trying to find something a little bit more long term, because usually these tourist positions are going to be good, for seasonal time frames, and that's really about it. So if you can use that to get your foot in the door and find something a little bit more long term, not a bad strategy at all. This next tip, it's going to sound, it's a little wishy-washy. It is very important though, and that is have a good attitude. Okay, if you, regardless what position you're in, even if you're just working some kind of an entry-level position, make sure you have a good attitude, because putting yourself out there and having just this grouchy, condescending attitude towards everybody, like you just have an axe to grind, that's not going to endure yourself very well, and you have no clue who you're going to be coming in contact with. Case in point, one of the first jobs I had in Alaska when I first got here, and keep in mind, this is when I had 2 graduate degrees, years worth of experience and a lot of stuff. First job I had, serving ice cream at Cold Stone in Eagle River, Alaska. Okay, that was the first job that I had. But I still wasn't grouchy and angry with everybody when they came in. I was still pleasant, fun to be around, I would like to think. And that actually made me stand out from a lot of the teenagers that I was working with. And somebody came in and said, hey, I can tell you don't belong here. Let's talk. And I ended up actually working for him as a reporter for a local newspaper / magazine. And that turned out to be a great opportunity. And the guy actually ended up getting into real estate about the same time that I did. So yeah, it's a fun connection I have to this day. So regardless what position you have a good attitude, and that's going to set you up for success way better than going in there with kind of this grouchy, angry attitude like the world owes you something. Last but not least, and this is one of my personal favorites here, go and create a position for yourself. And what I mean by that is if you know your value, you know what it is you bring to the table, you have a crystal clear idea for what it is you do specifically that nobody else can do, then it's time for you to approach a company and say, hey, I see you have this need. This is what I can do for you. This is how I can solve it. This is how I can make your life way easier. And as long as you pitch it in such a way as, hey, I am here to make a problem of yours go away, that is going to really set you up for success. Even if they don't decide to work with you, they are going to see, hey, this person's really proactive. They're really going to go after it. And, they're talking about creating a position for me here. And, I know he's talking about creating a position for himself, but also it fits a need. That's something that they're going to remember. I mean, I remember actually having gotten a job before at a university just because I approached a number of departments and said, hey, look, you guys don't have this position now. This is what I think I can do for you though. Are you interested? And the initial people I reached out to, they weren't interested. They forwarded my information off to somebody else, and that person liked what I was pitching, and they actually ended up creating a position for me along with a scholarship and all this other stuff too. So great opportunity. Would not have gotten it had I just waited for a job to pop up. Instead, I looked at it, saw what the opportunities were, and put myself in a position to actually succeed that way. So if at all possible, see if you can find a position out there that you can just create for yourself. Thanks for watching. Again, my name is Jamin Goecker. I sure hope this has been really useful for you. Finding work can be one of the most daunting parts of actually moving to Alaska. I know a number of people where their heart's in the right place, they want to move up here, but really the employment is the only thing holding them back. So I understand there is a huge hurdle to be had to go over if you are looking at moving up here. It's not insurmountable though. Use these tips, and if you have any other questions, do feel free to reach out to me. Let's chat and see if we can come up with a plan that's going to work for your specific situation. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.